We're gonna go ahead to our web browser, open it up. I'm just gonna go ahead and search. I already searched Nike, so I'm just gonna pull that up. Go over to images. This logo is fine. Right click, save image as. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to my desktop, new folder, tutorial. Save. And if you notice, it's saved as a JPEG. We don't want that, which is fine, which is why we're going to go ahead and use Adobe Illustrator. And we're going to go ahead and change it into a Scalable Vector Graphic. Create new. It doesn't matter which one you pick at this point. We'll just now we're going to go to File, Place, Desktop, Tutorial, Nike, boom. And then we're going to go ahead and click on, and we're going to change the size of this guy. Boom. Alright, so now we're going to go to Image Trace, and we're going to go to Outlines with Source Image, and if you notice, it has this blue line or turquoise line, so that's fine. We're going to go ahead and do Expand. Now it becomes a blue line. And we're going to click off, and we can now export it, because all we're doing is changing this to a Scalable Vector Graphic or SVG. And we'll just do a Nike emblem or logo. And we're going to go ahead, SVG, export. Now we have that exported. Here to blend. Now this is going to pop up right here. This doesn't go away unless you click off the screen. And what I like to do is highlight everything, hit X, return. Then we go over here to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and over here type in SVG. And what you're looking for is this to be checked off. Import, Export, Scalable Vector Graphics SVG 1.1 format. Go ahead, since it's already checked, click off. File, Import, Scalable Vector Graphic SVG, Desktop, since that's where our folder is, Tutorial, Nike logo SVG. Now it's going to be right here. It's very small, so what we do is hit Command, 2 fingers on the mouse pad, and zoom in. And then 2 fingers on the mouse pad and swivel. Set this guy up. Now what we do is click off the background, hit X, return, and it's going to leave us with our Nike logo. And now click, left click, now right click, convert to mesh, and then we're gonna go over to this guy right here, add modifier, solidify, and if you notice, it gave us a 3D image. We can come over here to thickness, make it bigger, smaller, whatever. I'm gonna keep it at 0.3 and 0.03 meters, and you'll see why in a second when we go into DaVinci Resolve. So now we're done. We're going to go to File, Export, and we want to export as wavefront.obj. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And we're going to go ahead and put it in the same folder. We are going to label this "3D Nike logo," and you don't want to put underscores or anything while you're doing this with the Scalable Vector Graphic. The reason for that is, for whatever reason, the programs don't like it, and they're gonna go into a blank mode, so you'll put it in there and it just won't show up. It'll say it's there, but it's not. So you want to make sure you do not underscore. So this is going to be our name. Export OBJ. Let it do its thing. So now we're exporting. We can go close this. I'm not going to save it, but you can save it. You know what, I'll save it. $3D Nike logo, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in our tutorial folder. Now we can go ahead and export into DaVinci Resolve. Untitled project. We're going to come over here to the Fusion tab. This is the Fusion tab. Okay, it's going to look weird. Mine looks different because I've been working. There's a different setup. But this is your window 1, window 2. You can also hit numbers 1 and number 2 on the keyboard to activate each node so you can see what it's doing. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and click on the grid here. Hit Shift Spacebar, type in FBX, and now this is going to allow us to bring in our 3D object. Normally, you would do this in a different process, but because this is a 3D object, you're doing something totally different. So we're going to go ahead and hit Add, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in. Bring up our this is the one we want, the 3D logo OBJ. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Open. It's gonna bring up our media out. We don't want to connect to that yet, but we're gonna click on our FBX mesh. Now I like to set up my grid down here, arrange tools to grid. Yours won't be like that when you first download it, but mine says to grid, so it snaps to each line, which is nice. But now we can go ahead and click on here, hit 1 on the keyboard. Now you'll notice that you'll notice that it's going to show up into a 3D grid. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and if you notice, it looks really washed out, like overexposed. We're going to go ahead and hit this guy right here, and this is going to turn on lights and shadows. So the lights and shadows is going to give it its depth, but in order for us to rotate this, we're going to go here, and boom. Now we're going to bring this guy up. It's a little bit easier than Blender. They both have their perks, but this is the way I like to work. You can do the same, all what I'm doing in here in Blender. But what we're going to do now is move this down. We're going to do a reflect mode with a sphere map. So we're going to go ahead and hit Shift Spacebar, click on sphere, boom, and then what I did to do that was I just hit the negative sign to zoom out by the delete button. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Shift Spacebar again, reflect, click, add, and what we're going to do is connect. We're going to right click the white into here, and we're going to do reflection intensity material, and then we're going to bring it into here. Okay, so now it's going to look washed out again, but what we're going to do is click here, bring this over to window 2, hit command, 2 fingers on the mouse pad, and zoom in. And then in order just to shift axes, you can just move your 2 fingers on the mouse pad. You can click this. It won't show up because of the sphere map, but we're going to bring the sphere map into window 1 by hitting 1. Reflect, sorry. And we're going to bring a image into here. So if you notice, this is white. So what we're going to do, media pool, right click, import media. Now I already have a couple backgrounds. You can go online and type in reflection maps backgrounds, and I'll show you what they look like. Boom, there we go. Here's a reflection map right there. Check that out, guys. Now we can add textures, all kinds of stuff to this, but we're just going to go ahead and use this reflection map. Now we're going to go ahead and bring this in, and it's going to come in as media 1. We're going to go ahead and right click on this guy. I like to stay organized, and we're going to rename him. Now there's another way we can do that. Cancel. We can just hit FN F2. And there's reflect map. So now everything is going into here. So now I can close my media pool. Go ahead, click off, and shift, 2 fingers on, and I don't see it reflecting. Looks like it is, but we're gonna go ahead and bring in a blend. Shift spacebar, blend, and we want this guy right here. Boom. Bring him up, and we're gonna right click, and we're gonna have him intensity material. Okay, so now we will hit 1 on our line here. I kind of want to make this like a teal color. Something like that right there. So that right there is color that we want to go with. Now we can obviously change the opacity, whatnot, but we want to make sure lighten and shadow. Specular color. Now the specular is going to go ahead and change this guy right here. We can go with like a dark. To give it not so much of a hue or contrast. But I think I put it into the wrong one. There it is. Then alright, we're gonna redo this, guys. We're gonna keep the blend in there, but boom, and boom. There we go. All right. Oh. So we want the sphere map to be the intensity material. So now, you see the texture it gives you when you bring that in with the check. Now we can bring in this guy right here, and we're going to bring in a merge node, and we're going to be merging all this. So what I normally like to do when I'm done with my composition on what I'm done with, like this logo right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and change the color blend. There we go. Fraction tint. And do it like a green. It doesn't change it much. It just gives it like a slight intense feel. So now we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit more of a hue. We can make it flat, make it extremely reflective. Hit shift, 2 fingers on here, and you can kind of see how it's working. Looks really nice right there. I'm probably gonna go with a base strength. Right down. I kind of like it a little bit whiter. I like how it changes when you move. So this is perfect for me. I like that. A little bit more. So now I'm done with my logo. I'm going to highlight, and we're going to hit Command G, and that's going to group it. Now again, F2 F2, FN, F2, and we're gonna name this logo. Boom. Then we just bring this guy down. Keeps everything nice and tight and neat. And bring it over. Grab image plane. We're gonna go ahead and do a fast noise. And we're gonna go ahead and bring this into the image plane. And we're gonna go ahead, boom. Now, shift, zoom, command, and 2 fingers, and zoom out. And you see it gives you this plane. Now, we're gonna go ahead and connect to the merge 3D. Actually, you know what? We're gonna create 2 merges because we can use this right here to control the logo. So we're going to bring in 2 merges, and we're going to connect, boom, and then grab this guy, boom. So now you notice they're all connected. And how I like to do this, usually merges under merges and work from left to right. So now we got the image plane here and the fast noise. So normally how the fast noise works is boom, it looks like that, and that's not what we want. So we bring in the image plane 3D1, and it gives us in 3D. But now if we look at it, merge 3D1, and click on the screen, zoom in. Now, if you look at it, we have our 3D logo in the plane, but you see how it's cutting into the plane? What we need to do is we're going to go ahead and rotate it a little. Oh, that's the whole thing. Shoot. We're going to bring in another merge 3D, so we're going to hit shift spacebar, merge 3D, add, and now what we're going to do is bring this guy into here. Alright, so now what that's going to allow us to do is rotate the logo the way I wanted it. But I want this guy right here with the boom, this way, boom, and then boom. It's pretty easy to work with. So, I just want him even. Oh. The plane, so right about here. Now we're going to go ahead and click this guy and pull him through. So now we hit shift, 2 fingers on the keypad, and voila, it's off the plane. So now what I'm really trying to do with this, for a reason why I brought in the fast noise, we're going to click on that and click here, zoom out. I'm gonna which merge was it? This one? This one. I'm going to click here and change that back to 0. And that's just going to level everything out. Because remember, I accidentally moved it. So if you look, it's nice and, what is it called? Right angle. So, again, this is all numbers, trigonometry, the whole 9 yards. But we're going to go ahead and come in here to fast noise. We're going to change the detail. We can change the color. What color looks good with orange? Orange. I like orange. So, boop. Come in here and do like a tangerine orange. Okay, so that's going to give us that. So we're going to hit this, hit 2, zoom out, boom, oh, come on, alright, so we're going to go back to the fast noise, color 2, and this time we're probably going to go with like a yellow to make it a little bit more orange. And then noise, a bit of detail. And if you notice, it changes a little bit, but we're gonna fix that. You can just come back over here and do the same thing. Brightness. I like the decay look. So now we can scale it like that. We can do it. Just continue. Sheath rate. The sheath rate is gonna change how much it moves. And I don't like it to move too fast, so I do a point. So click 0.01, enter. And if you come down here and hit play, you're gonna see it move ever so slightly. Okay, so we're gonna stop. I'm going to change the scale on this. I like the way I had it before. How did I have it? The brightness, or the contrast. Yep, there we go. And then, because I'm doing all this, I want to bring in a background node. This right here is a background. If you hover over something for like 2 to 3 seconds, it'll tell you what it is. Bring it in here. So now, I want this guy to be white. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do it like a off turquoise color. Boom. Now we're gonna go back in here at 2. You know what? Add these backwards. So I'm gonna bring boom. There it is, guys. Boom. Alright, that didn't happen the way I expected it, so alright, so we're going to go back in the fast mode. Alright, so that's moving like that. And then, so now, what we can do, boom, highlight these three. And then, again, Command G, FN, F2, background. So again, everything stays organized. Keep everything nice and close. Now from here, what I usually like to do is I do like to rename these just because I don't want anything to get mixed up. So what we'll do is name this logo merge. FN F2 logo background. Okay. And then this combines everything into here. But now what I want to do is add lights. So it's not what we wanted. I'm gonna bring these lights to only affect the logo. So we have to have that enabled, and then we're gonna go ahead and give our spotlight a color. And I'm gonna keep it kind of towards the warmer side. And just pull this guy out. So you see with the look that I'm trying to go for here. So what I really want to do is go ahead and keep my spotlight up. We're going to turn on quadratic, which is the most realist version of a 3D light on here. And I don't want it too right to where it looks overexposed. So I'm going to bring it down to about, it looks 693.693. That looks good. I like that. Check it out a little bit. Yeah, you get a nice reflection. So now we're going to change the decay rate. Actually, we're going to keep the decay rate. Cone angle, you can widen it. But what I want is something like a fall off or drop off, I guess they want to call it. Which gives you a blur, and you have your conundrum. See how the edges are less brighter? So now I'm going to go ahead into my transform, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see what the light is doing. So we can do stuff like that. But what I want is to start it off over here. Have this guy on an angle. We're going to change the Y rotation here, and if you notice, it gives us a little bit of depth. I do want to add ambient light, so I'm going to click this merge here. Shift spacebar, ambient light. Boom. So it keeps everything lit up, but if you notice, everything changes if I move this guy. So gives us some type of depth. And I think I'm gonna also bring in I kind of like it better like this. I'm probably gonna bring in another spotlight. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna probably leave this guy white. But see how we have two of these, two of the Y's, two of the Z's, or your Z, and then your X. What I like to do now, right click here, control options. Control options, active tool only. See, it removes the one. So whenever you click, it brings up the active tool. Boom. Logo. Well, you have to open it up by double clicking, and boom, no logo is selected. So now hit the X, close that out, and then Spotlight 2. We're going to work in a single window, and we're going to bring this guy all the way out. We're going to change this quadratic. Intensity, we're going to bring it way down, because we just want the face of the Nike logo to light up. And then cone angle, we're going to open this guy up all the way. Conundrum angle. And all that is changing is the fall off. So this is the cone angle, and then your conundrum. So it changes the softness of the light and how hard it is. And you hear the drop off. So boom, 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 boom. See? Oh. So now shift, 2 fingers. And yeah, I think that gives us a decent. We got that little bit of an orange hue here and white here. That's kind of the look I'm going for, so nothing looks washed out. So from there, we're gonna add a 3D render right here. Boom. So now we're going to connect it to this guy, and then we can connect it here. See, if we didn't have the 3D merge mode and we tried connecting anything to here, it just won't work. Just won't work, guys. Sorry, but see, boom. So you need your 3D renderer. Now this is only in 3D mode. Boom. Boom. Now what that allows us to do is have our finished product, but also bring in our camera. So we're going to go to 2 screen. We're going to keep merge 3D3. Boom. Oh, on window 1. Make it even. Close the inspector. And then click media out. And hit 2 for the camera. So, drag up the camera. Boom, check that out. What? Alright. So now, bring up the camera. So now I'm going to set keyframes and have it here 4 seconds. We can always change the length of this, but I'm just going to keep it at 4.5 seconds by going to inspector and you can change it all. Go to transform because this is how I kind of want the final product to be. Actually, you know what? We're gonna rotate this guy just a tad. Like this. That's why. So now you see that the ambient light only affects the background. So I'm gonna make this bright. Is it one? I want something more like that. And then with the spotlights, spotlight 1, control, intensity. Want that as bright as possible. I kind of like that. So now, go back to square one. And what we're going to do is go to transform, use target, and we're going to come over here and we are going to move this guy. Now we're going to rotate. So this is how I want my final project to be. So we're going to come down here to 4. Okay. And we are going to, because we're only operating the camera, we want to have the camera selected, transform, and click all these keyframes. So any movement you make will be recorded. So now we're going to come to somewhere right here. Bring it right about here, about 11. 0.11 seconds. And we are going to boom. And we're going to long press. And bring. But if you notice, this is in frame a little bit. So what we want to do is just bring this guy over just a bit. Boom. So now we hit play. So now, what we're gonna do is, I can do a lot more with this, but for demonstration purposes, you guys got the idea. I'm going to click my spline, which is right here. We're gonna go ahead and okay, sorry, my mistake. Click camera, and you only want to. Normally, you'd have all your keyframes here, but for right now, what we're gonna do is it's only one keyframe with the camera with all these. You got your X offset, Y offset, Z, etc. So we want all that checked. So then I'm gonna collapse it and move that to the left. And boom. Highlight and hit S. And what that is doing, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So if I hit Command Z, see how everything's a straight line? If I hit S, it brings it into like a curve. So it smooths everything out when you play everything back. So now it doesn't look so robotic. Boom. So that's that. We're gonna go into the color tab, and I want to add a vignette. Yeah, there she is. Long press, drag over, and boom. Now, I mean, if you want, you can change the softness. You can make it like that. So, I mean, this is what you'll get. I don't think that looks good, but some people might. So I'm gonna do something like that. And change the anamorphic. So at the end here, boom. You know what? We're going to do this at the beginning. I'm going to change the anamorphic to be just about this size. Like that. And then we're going to go halfway through. Oh shit. Set your keyframes first, sorry guys. And we're gonna go about a quarter of the way through. And we're gonna change the anamorphic to be that. The size to be a little bit bigger. So it's gonna be a nice like intro, see? Boom. Happens as it starts to reveal the Nike logo. So that's that. You're done. You hit stop. Go here. This is your distribution tab, aka renderer. We're gonna name this 3D Nike logo final. And again, no underscores. For whatever reason, it gets finicky and acts like a jerk. And we're gonna set our location, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this here. Tutorial, save, boom, add to render, render all. So completed in 9 seconds, which will hide, and we can go to our tutorial and watch the movie. Boom. And that's that.